Imagine meeting someone who tells you, calmly, confidently, "I worship Satan." Most people hear those words and instantly jump to one conclusion, that this person must be evil, dangerous, maybe even involved in something dark or violent. But here's the strange part. Most of the history of so-called Satan worship has very little to do with actual devil worship. In fact, some of the first people ever accused of worshiping Satan probably never worshipped anything close to Satan at all. They were farmers, midwives, outcasts, people who happened to annoy the wrong neighbor or lived in the wrong place at the wrong time. So if that's true, where did this idea even come from? And how did it evolve from medieval torture chambers to modern bookstores selling the Satanic Bible? To answer that question, we need to go all the way back to the beginning. Chapter 1. Where Satan came from. Before we talk about worship, we need to talk about the character himself, because the Satan most people imagine today, the horned figure, the ruler of hell, the embodiment of evil, didn't appear overnight. The idea took centuries to develop. In early Jewish scripture, the word Satan wasn't even a proper name. It was a title, a word meaning adversary or accuser. In the book of Job, Satan acts more like a prosecutor in a heavenly court, a figure who tests human loyalty. Not a rebel, not the ultimate evil, not the ruler of darkness, more like an examiner, a challenger. Christian theology gradually transformed this figure. Over centuries, ideas from different texts and traditions merged together. The serpent from Genesis, fallen angels, cosmic rebellion. By the Middle Ages, Satan had become something far larger. The personification of evil itself, a being standing in opposition to everything divine. Islam has its own distinct figure, Iblis, who refuses to bow before Adam out of pride and is cast out. Different scriptures, different traditions, different interpretations, but a similar idea, a being who chooses defiance. 3 religions, 3 separate histories, 3 different understandings. And this matters because before people could worship Satan, the idea of Satan first had to exist, and that idea took centuries to form. Chapter 2. Did ancient civilizations worship Satan? Now here's where things become genuinely surprising. The Mesopotamians, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans. All of these civilizations worshipped many gods. Some ruled over death, others over chaos, others over the underworld. The Mesopotamians had Ereshkigal, the Egyptians had Set, the Greeks had Hades. So were these people worshipping Satan? No. And this is the part that surprises most people. They couldn't have been, because the later Christian concept of Satan did not yet exist. You cannot worship a character before that character has been fully imagined. Ancient civilizations had gods of darkness, gods of storms, gods of death, spirits, monsters, underworld rulers. But these were not Satan. That connection came much later. As new religions spread, older gods were sometimes reinterpreted, relabeled, reimagined. A foreign god could become a demon. A rival religion could become evil. And this pattern appears again and again. Throughout history, people often define themselves by turning someone else's beliefs into something frightening. And that brings us to the next chapter, because fear would shape the story of Satan more than almost anything else. Chapter 3. The first accusations. So when did accusations of devil worship truly begin? Mostly in medieval Europe. But these accusations were rarely about actual Satan worship. They were about something else. Power, fear, control. Accusing someone of serving the devil was incredibly effective. It turned enemies into monsters, and monsters could be destroyed. Religious minorities, outsiders, unpopular groups, all could suddenly become agents of evil. Then came the witch trials. Communities faced famine, disease, war, uncertainty. And when people are afraid, they look for someone to blame. Many accusations targeted women, especially older women, healers, midwives, anyone who seemed different. Many confessions came under torture, and history teaches us something uncomfortable here. People will say almost anything to make unbearable pain stop. This doesn't mean no one believed in dark forces. Some certainly did, but historians widely agree. Confessions extracted under torture cannot be treated as reliable evidence. Fear can manufacture enemies that never existed, and sometimes stories become more powerful than facts, which leads us to one of history's most mysterious ideas, the Black Mass. Chapter 4. The Black Mass. You've probably heard of it. A secret ritual, candles, dark ceremonies, a mockery of religion, the so-called Black Mass. But what was it really? The answer is complicated. Historical accounts appear in the 17th century France. most famously during scandals connected to the royal court. Priests, nobles, rumors, political rivalries, whispers of forbidden rituals. But historians still debate how much was real and how much was exaggeration, because stories spread quickly, especially stories that shock people. By the 19th century, the Black Mass had become something else entirely. Writers loved it. Artists loved it. It was dramatic, forbidden, mysterious. Many modern images of satanic rituals actually come from novels, paintings, and popular culture, not historical records. Fact and fiction became tangled together, and perhaps that's what makes this history so fascinating. Because sometimes the stories humans create become more powerful than reality itself. But then something unexpected happened. Satan moved out of legends and into modern life. Chapter 5. Modern Satanism. This is where many viewers will be surprised. Modern Satanism is much newer than most people think. In 1966, Anton LaVey founded the Church of Satan in San Francisco. 3 years later, he published the Satanic Bible. But here's the twist. LaVey's Satanism was not based on worshiping a literal devil. It was atheistic. Satan became a symbol of individualism, self-determination, questioning authority, rebellion against blind conformity. Then came another movement, the Satanic Temple, also non-theistic, also symbolic, using Satan as a figure connected to secularism, political activism, and religious freedom debates. And then there are theistic Satanists, a much smaller group, people who genuinely believe in a supernatural Satan. These groups are very different from one another. Philosophy, politics, religion, symbolism, different paths, different beliefs, different reasons. And this leads us to the most important question of all. Why would anyone choose Satan as a symbol in the first place? Chapter 6. The Psychology. Psychologists and sociologists don't point to one answer, because humans are complicated. For some people, Satan represents rebellion, the ultimate outsider, a symbol of rejecting authority. For others, it's identity, belonging to a community that stands apart from the mainstream. For some, it's protest, a deliberate challenge to powerful institutions. For others, it's philosophical, a symbol of questioning rather than obeying. And for many people throughout history, the answer is simpler. They never worshipped Satan at all. They were victims of fear, rumors, superstition, and humanity's endless search for someone to blame. Ending so. Why did people start worshipping Satan? Some never did. They were accused, punished, blamed for things they never did. Some saw older gods reinterpreted as demons. Some embraced Satan purely as a symbol of rebellion, individualism, or protest. A much smaller number believed literally as genuine religious devotion. And many, across history, simply reached for the most forbidden symbol their society had to offer. History is rarely as simple as good versus evil. It's usually far more human than that. So, what topic should we uncover next?